Welcome back to Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Join us as we venture year-round into the fog.
Make sure you give us a like and a follow on your podcast platform of choice. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube page where we upload every episode in its video format, and maybe a few other surprises as well.
Make sure you're following us on social media to keep up to date with our newest haunted content.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
I'm Jamie.
If you are watching this in video format, you may be thinking, what the hell? Why are they recording in the daytime? Well, that's because this is HHN season and we are all over the place with our schedules. So this is going to be a pretty quick well, I always say it's a quick episode and we always taper off somewhere. So we are going to be talking about the improvements that we think could help HHN34 bring it to the next level. Now, some of these are realistic, some of these are not realistic, some of these are kind of wish list items that we want to maybe see carried over into next year. We'll talk about kind of food, scare zones, houses, shows, stuff like that. But yeah, me and Seamus running old school tonight, and then we are going to wrap this thing up and probably see you in the fog in a short couple hours. So, no beers tonight. I'm skipping that because I'm saving room for beers at Horror Nights. Or sodas, or I don't know. I'm going to need a coffee. I'm pretty tired as is. But yeah, so we're going to be diving into all those today. I did want to first say, again, with our HHN schedule, my mind is in a million places. I don't know if we've recorded since we did the scavenger hunt, or maybe we recorded before.
We did. We recorded last week.
Did we? Okay. All right. I wanted to just going to say a little thank you to all the teams again that came out. I am hard at work at the video, which means I've got all the footage and I organized it. I haven't started completely diving in yet, but I did the organization phase of it. So this will definitely be a project. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of footage. So I'm excited to kind of dive into that. But thank you again to everybody that kind of helped out. We had Dish Upon a Bar, Dole Whips and Ducks, Ryan for the Love of Theme Park. We had Ethan, Adrian, and Michael from Howled Thrills on the Wyatt family team. We had Brennan from Park Talk Radio. We had Nikki from Haunt Girls Pod. We had Duff and Jess from 365. We had Wicked Thrill Seekers. And then we had our trusted leader, Scott, as our referee. Great night, fun footage. I'm excited to dive into it. But that's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about some improvements. So, like I said, Seamus, these are sort of unrealistic or semi-realistic, however you want to look at it. So I guess we can dive in. I think starting with food and beverage would probably be a little bit easier. And let's just get the one out of the way that we know is coming because it's here every single year. And that's simply more beer. More beer selection.
Yeah.
I'm never going to not put this on a list, specifically.
I think it's one of those issues that, like, we can scream to the high heavens every single year that they need to find more. Like, and when we say beer, we don't mean like more light options. We're talking about more craft options.
Yeah,
there are a lot of local good local craft beer, craft breweries in the area that they could easily reach out to, even if it's to make something super limited, like just like hey, we're gonna have so and so here for the first 2 weeks, and maybe rotate it a little bit. But they do need to try to work on that better than and we say it every year, and this is not to like say that what they do offer is bad. I think they offer as much as they can, but yeah, it is it's lacking if you're a beer drinker, unfortunately, especially considering that like most of the carts only have like Modelo and Miller Lite. And Miller Lite is trash. I don't care, you can fight me on it if you want to. And Modelo is not bad, but I just wish there were more options.
Yeah, the little push carts are limited to those, generic domestics. The PB&J beer that everybody's raving about is a great selection, but it's in 2 spots, I believe it is. So a pretty limited spot. I don't know what the sales are. I don't know what the fascination is with always having a high selection of sours. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them this year, whereas there's really one true pumpkin beer in one Oktoberfest, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have the Crooked Can October, and then they have the Whole Hog. You would think that would sort of be flipped. You would think that we would have more of the darker October fall themed beers versus sours. Maybe sours are the hot ticket. Maybe because if somebody's not a true beer drinker, that's kind of the doors open for them there. I do see that they sell a lot. I mean, the Lacto Cooler sold like gangbusters. They didn't bring that
Right.
back, and they kind of transitioned into whatever that Fang style beer is.
I don't
It's
know,
I haven't
actually.
had it, but it's another sour. The name is escaping me off the top of my head, but I do just wish we had a bigger, specifically fall oriented beers.
Yeah.
It just seems a little silly that we don't have a
Yeah, I
large
mean,
selection.
unfortunately, you know, Whole Hog and the Dufftoberfest really are the only two fall beers they offer. So it is a little lacking, especially considering you can get Dufftoberfest. Well, actually, no, you can't. It's brought back for the first time in a while, right? Like they didn't have it the last couple of
I
seasons, I
think
don't think.
I think they carry them every season.
Oh, they do. All right.
Yeah,
Well, then,
the
okay.
Dufftobers, I think they do, but the other one they kind of rotate because I think the one in Club Horror is like a crooked can
Oh, right.
based
True. Yes.
Oktoberfest.
Yes. Which they do have that at Coven too, up at
Okay,
Dead
yep.
Coconut too, which that's not bad. I mean, I enjoy that one
Hmm.
for
Yep.
for it's a solid beer. I like Crooked Can. But this is what I'm talking about. Like you've got a lot of, I don't want to say like there's like a ton of breweries, but there's enough in Central Florida that I feel like you could maybe bring in like a rolling beer cart that sells
Hmm.
specifically craft beer.
Yeah. Even if it is in one spot, like look at Club Horror. You can only get certain drinks or certain beers there. Even if you did a smaller selection thing, but just one location, I'm fine with walking to that location
Right.
as long as there's multiple options. I mean, we had, was it the Three Sisters last year at
Yeah,
the
we had the Three
Triplets booth?
Sisters. I think it's what it was.
Yep. So that was really cool. I would hope that this does continue, but we'll see. Um, I kind of am missing that Peacock Fanta Bar location that was tucked right over on the lagoon in the back end of where
Mm,
that San Francisco area is. I think maybe after last year, the sales maybe just weren't there because the Peacock Bar was always kind of full. You had the
right.
David S. Pumpkins. It was always pretty regularly full. Last year when it was the Fanta Bar, selfishly, I still very much enjoyed it. But that was also because there was really not much foot traffic back there. I do
Yeah.
wish that location was back though, because it was nice to kind of grab a drink and chill and sit in those couches underneath the awnings or just lean against the railing a little bit. I do miss that location. Anything that you have for food and beverage? I got a couple more, but
Um,
I'm curious if you had some that I had as well.
that's a good question. See, this year is going to be tough for this one because, like, I think a lot of what they've done this year is top notch. I think it works a
Mm,
lot. I wish. I think I kind of go along with what you said about there being the Peacock Bar. I don't like that they stuck a bar in Club Horror, but it's kind of like off in the background, and it's just really loud back there. So it's kind of a rough place to put it. But um, no, I mean, I think all the options are good this year. I don't think there's really any food options that I can think of that didn't really work for me.
yeah.
Um,
This is a tricky year, and I guess we should have
yeah,
prefaced this episode with saying, I mean, this year is great. We're gonna kind of always do this episode, just always looking for little things to, you can call it nitpicking, but just ways that could have been improved. That it could be the best of all years. This is a great year. We're still gonna look for little things here and there throughout the park, throughout the houses, to kind of say, hey, this might have been a better option or a more fun option or something like that. Um, my other food one, I'm very disappointed that there is no crazy hot dog or crazy burger. I know there's the crazy pulled pork sandwich. I know there's the freakishly long corn dog, but for me, a corn dog is not a hot dog, and pulled pork sandwich is not a burger. I'm a, I almost said I'm a simple man, but I like the wacky stuff. But like burger and hot dog is a pretty, simple food item. I like the wacky, crazy stuff. I think that those are fun. I don't know if I'm going to try the corn dog again. I'm not a big fan of corn dogs as a whole, especially freakishly long ones. They scare me. Um, There's just no coming back from eating that thing in public. Like
Heyo.
there's no coming back from that.
No, that's true.
So I do hope that next year we do get some sort of wacky, crazy hot dog or burger. That's just a small nitpick. Deviled eggs. I really got my hopes up with those. I was really hoping for real deviled eggs.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What they have this year doesn't. I don't know. It's gross. They are pretty gross.
Yeah,
and I don't know if for me. It's a texture thing. I don't like the texture of the whatever they eat the eggs out of.
Yeah.
Like the cream isn't bad. Pineapple cream or whatever is not too bad, but it's more it's like eating
It's
an
gelatin.
Eyeball.
It's like it's weird. It's pretty close, but it's still. When I first saw the pictures, I was like, "Ooh, deviled eggs! Like, let's go."
Yeah, not for me.
It's fun. They tried something. I'm not. I would be okay if they had both as an option. Joke eggs and
True.
deviled eggs. I think that would be a fun little thing. Obviously, I know also deviled eggs are pretty. They're a bitch to prep, especially in high volume.
Yeah.
So that's a tricky part. That's not something that can be cooked. That's something that you have to have
It's not made to order. Yeah.
No. The Jason S'morehe's, that is not a s'morehe's.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
They should have called that Jason S'morehe's. I mean, we
and it should be a real s'more.
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What else did I have? Oh, I had two more. One just came to me, so I'll go with that one. I know we have the Radaway bags as sort of that take home kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish we had either additional or at least one for a food item somewhere. I know you made note of wanting the like Fallout food in those cans, but kind of like how we had with Last of Us, we had the little take home ravioli cups. I like those little extra tchotchke things that it's not in the tribute store. It's not a piece of merch technically, but you do get to walk away with a little something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Radaway kind of functions as that, but they are relatively expensive. So I can see why it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah. I like the little food containery things that can serve other purposes. Because like the Radaway bag I have and I'm going to keep as a piece of memorabilia.
Right.
But there's no function to it. Like the Last of Us I use as like a pen holder, like a little
right,
cup
exactly.
I could repurpose it. And then the final food item thing that I have is probably not realistic, but I would really like some sort of food challenge item, whether that be like some absurd size of a food item, whether it's a spice thing. I think it would be fun to have some sort of challenge, whether that be in a Louis style restaurant or if you have a stand that is specifically for that.
Yeah, I feel like you've brought this up before. I don't think this is the first
have.
time that you've mentioned it. I'm pretty sure you've said something like we need some sort of food challenge option. And that would be kind of fun. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I just don't know where you would do it and how you would control it, just because like I'm sure it's one of those things that like not just one person's going to do it every so often. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that want to attempt it. So
yes,
you got to find a way to do it so that it's out of the way, but not like hidden.
Yeah, I think you could do. I don't think it could. I think you could get away with it not being a true challenge. I think you could just sell like an absurdly large food item for like $30 and then like, finish it in, 5 minutes or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be a true like, oh, you get the t-shirt. We have to have somebody monitor you. Like just kind of send it out to the world for people to have fun with. I think that would be a fun option. And a lot of these improvements are things that we have said in the past, but I will keep saying it because what the fun part is, the bigger we get, you never know who's listening.
That's true.
So we might, ideas I had 3 years ago that fell on deaf ears because the ears that were listening were just, people that enjoyed going to the event. Maybe there's some people out there listening that have some say in these things. You never know who's listening out there, but the more reach we get, the higher probability of somebody being like, you know what? I thought I was the only one thinking that. Nope, you are not. Other people are also thinking that. Other people being us.
Us.
Did you have any other food and beverage things before we
No,
scurry into the streets?
I really don't have that much to complain about with the food. I think the food overall is really good this year. So
It is. I'm always excited to try something a little bit different. Every time I try to get like another food item that I didn't get the previous time, I think tonight might be a spaghetti pizza night. That might be
oh
the
god.
night. And I got to try I still haven't had the coffee. That's surprising for me.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
true. You haven't had the Jason coffee yet.
I
I'm
haven't gotten
surprised.
anything from there actually. The sausage didn't really. I'm not a big sausage guy, so it's not super appealing to me. Obvious, and it also just looks like a
Well, I
giant
mean, it's
spiral
obviously a
dog
theme
turd.
here because
Yeah,
you're not a corn dog guy, nor are you a
yeah,
sausage guy.
yeah. No, yeah. Hey, hey. Um,
Hey yo.
ooh, bing bong. Scare zones. This is another tricky one. This whole episode's tricky because what we have is great. This is probably one of the best years of scare zones, at least in the last 5. I'm sure if I were to dig back further, we could make the case for past 8 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, because these scare zones are firing on all cylinders. But off the top, do you have any scare zone improvements you would maybe like to see,
Yeah, I mean,
either for zones this year or next year or
we're
whatever?
including the street experiences, right?
Yeah, let's group that all in there.
Because I would like them to keep that idea, like keep going with the street experience thing, and they can stay in the same place. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be Mel's die-in, like specifically, like the same zombies every year. Which I think that would be the biggest concern is that they just reuse the same thing over and over again. But I do wish, like, if they're gonna do something like Club Horror or something along those lines again, I would like them to kind of do the same idea, but make it more of like a classic Halloween party vibe. Like have the
Okay.
scare actors kind of be like Halloween party goers, and maybe it could be like somebody's attacking the Halloween party or some demons have invaded or whatever. But you can still have like the music element to it, playing some like Halloween party music, and I think that would give it a little bit more of a hey, let's hang out here
Hmm.
kind of thing. I think the problem is with this current year, like it's just like I said before, the music is too loud, and I don't mean that they should turn it down, but it's just too much
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
and
heavy bass.
it's really heavy, and I don't want to stand there for very long, unfortunately. And I think
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because like I said before, I think like, I don't know if it was last week we talked about. I think it was last week we talked about like our initial thoughts. I feel bad for those scare actors and the girls in there because like they're working their ass off and like nobody's really hanging out.
Yeah.
And like the area to hang out is behind everything. So
Mhm.
I feel like it was a good attempt, but I would rather it more of a party vibe. And then you could even like have special drinks in it, like only
Yeah.
drinks you can get only there, like, like some sort of like monster jungle juice or some sort of thing.
Mhm.
Like you would have it like at a party.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's a great starting point. That was also one of mine was, Club Horror, keep it, but kind of retool it, retheme it almost every year, kind of like Dead Coconut. And I like the classic Halloween vibe. Um, I do want, like you said, I would like some of the more traditional, classic-y, horror-esque style music. Throw some Misfits, throw Monster Mash, throw just any kind of creepy stuff. Even if it's, I'm curious what the licensing is.
Yeah, I'm sure they
Um,
can't get a ton of like
I'm curious, like, can the
licensed
DJs
music,
just
but
play? Like, can they play Killer Clowns or,
yeah, I don't
like,
know. I'm not really sure how that works because they're not really selling anything. You're just playing music, so I can't imagine it would be a problem. But I don't know I don't really know how those licensing laws work and stuff.
yeah, that's tricky. I mean, I guess if the DJ remixes the songs, it's kind of theirs to perform. I don't.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
a
But
weird
I mean,
route.
there's enough like I know we're so sick of the 80s, but like
Yeah.
there's enough like 80s synth, like
Yep. Yep.
scary synth stuff out there that can be just used as I don't know what you'd call it, like Creative Commons or just
Yeah.
royalty
Like
free.
loyalty. Yeah. Copyright free. Yeah.
So there's got to be some stuff out there you could use that just isn't the same standard bassy club music.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a step in the right direction. I think not having a full-fledged scare zone there works. I like the
Yeah,
whole
it's fun.
clubby thing. I just think there's tweaks that need to be made to kind of perfect it. At least perfect it for me. people out there might just love it exactly how it is, but they are not on this podcast, so they don't get to have their say. That's really what it is. But no, it is fun. I do hope that it's something that returns. That's for sure. One of the other things, so the Masquerade, the one issue I have over there, I wish they had a longer show sequence, because it is a very quick kind of in and out. Once you miss it, or as soon as you notice it's going on, you kind of miss it. I wish they had a bigger sequence of shows over there, just kind of like, I think you mentioned it before, but sort of like Conjure the Dark had a longer like set kind of thing. I think that would have been useful over there a little bit more, because it's crowded full of people. So I would like it to have some sort of like mob attack kind of thing. Not mob as in the Mutation 20 mafia mobs, but like they're attacking the people. But yeah, that's what I had for that one. Any other Scare Zone street stuff? I got 1 or maybe 1.5.
No, just because I really do enjoy the Scare Zones again this year. I think, like we said last week, Cat Lady is strong. It's really strong, and I think it benefits from having really good costuming, really good effects work, and the show element is fun. Masquerade I like just because I love the costuming. I think it looks really cool, especially in the day, like not the daytime, but like before it gets super dark. Like you can really appreciate a lot of the stained glass effect work. Like if you notice, the Stilt Walker's wings are stained glass. I think that's really cool. But you're right. I think that there's, no, I don't know. I think it's lit well enough this year that you don't miss anything. It's not like years past where it gets too dark over there, and it's really not something you can not focus on after it gets dark. But I do kind of wish they had a little bit more of a show element, a la the runway one. I keep forgetting the name
Vanity
of it.
Ball.
Vanity Ball, where that one had kind of like a vanity, like a ball.
It was like a constant element. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and it wasn't like constantly, but it definitely it feels like they're lacking just a little bit of more of a crowd work element to it. But overall, it's still really, really, really good. And I think the problem with the Toxic 20s is the same thing that a lot of those Scare Zones in that area have an issue with. It's just too much space to fill, and it's hard to make it feel enclosed. And I don't know if maybe that's hard to understand, but I guess my point is that it's very spread out. Which is not a big deal, because it'd rather it not bottleneck anyone, but at the same time, I do kind of feel like it lacks a little bit just because there's so much space and not enough stuff to fill it. And I think you mentioned it last week, and I agree with it, is that the gentleman in the truck who's way at the end, it feels kind of like he's left out.
Yeah.
Because like not many people are coming down and around that corner because there's no houses there.
Yep.
And the tribute store. So everybody's kind of cutting across, going to where the Fallout food is, and going in kind of in the center. And then if they take a right, because they don't think to go left because there's not a whole lot over there, you kind of get to miss, you miss some of that Scare Zone. But overall, I still think they're all really strong. I don't really have a ton of problems with anything. I don't really think there's a whole lot you can fix, at least with the things that I do have an issue with.
Yeah. What you mentioned about the character in the truck, and it's such a shame that people miss that, because that's the driving force of the story in the zone. Right. Like, he's the one telling you what's going on. There's been an accident. There's, toxic spilling there. It's mutating people. And that's like almost what should be the start of the zone. But
yeah,
and not that you can't piece it together. I mean, you can figure it out. Oh, they're toxic zombies, whatever. But that's a big piece of the story. So if you're looking for story like we do, you do need to kind of swing through that way and start it up. It does feel a little empty on that side, which is a bit of a shame, because it's a nice little set piece.
Yeah, and I could be imagining things, but I feel like they don't really use the connection to BlizzCon as much as they should. No, I mean, obviously you see it on certain things, like it's on the big sign at the other end,
the newspapers,
and you hear some things in the newspaper and things like that. But like, there's no like like you have the music playing, but I think they could have one of those like pseudo radio call cut-ins where it goes, this just in, BuzzCon, executives being held to the fire because of the, you know what I mean? Like something like that, which would make it feel more authentic to the time period that it, because, and I don't think they do enough, like the story of it is a little disjointed a little bit, because part of me is like, all right, so it's because there was an accident and all of like the chemicals spilled out of the truck, but then there's also this big element of booze because it's the 20s and like everything was like prohibition and stuff like that. So it's almost like, is it caused by the booze? Is the booze infected? Like I'm confused.
Yeah,
I don't really know where that. They don't really play into that as much as they should. And that could just be me. I mean, I struggle sometimes to to figure things out.
Connect things. I do too.
So
another thing that if you had not mentioned it, I wouldn't have thought of it. I think they should have characters in there of people in like hazmat BuzzCon suits and strictly being like, oh, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Like, playing up like the bad guy corporation that's trying to cover up their mistakes and stuff like that.
And you could potentially do, like, again, some of those like mob element, like that mob show element, have guys in like hazmat suits come out every once in a while and like start to clean people up or clean things up or whatever. Or try to move, like you said, move people along, like move along, nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here, guys. Yep. I think that would be a fun element to tie in BuzzCon a little bit more, and also like add a little bit more variety in between victim and mutated people.
Yeah.
Because there was also supposed to be like a bank heist, and it's kind of like that sort of gets lost in translation too with Moneybag Moretti or whatever it is. It's kind of like, okay, it's a cool character name, but where's the, other than the handful of gangsters and like a couple people with money bags, it doesn't really come into play.
I agree.
Yeah. Another quick little topic would just be shows. I think it's time for a new stage show. And this is nothing against Nightmare Fuel. It's a great show. But the fact that none of us have seen it yet or like been driven to go see it yet, I think taking the wait time out of it, because people line up. I saw people lining up 45 minutes before the 12:30 show the other night, which like I'm not going to commit that time. But other than the wait time stuff, like I'm not drawn to be like, okay, we need to go do this tonight.
Yeah.
I think that speaks for itself a little bit. I just think we need a little bit of a variety. You can keep a lot of the same people, like you just need to adjust it a little bit more than it does get, because it does get repetitive, especially with having the same sort of name. Whether it's a different show or not, I've heard people say there's different enough things in this that make it stand out from last year. But again, the fact that it's similar enough for me to be like, yeah, I'll see it when I see it. And wouldn't you know it, we're a couple days away from October and I still have not seen it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
I just think it's a time for a little bit of a shift. That's really all I had for that. Did you have anything on shows? Because
outside of that, that's about the only thing. I think that as much as we like it, it definitely needs to be updated. We need something different.
Yeah, I think,
and that doesn't mean going back to like a previous property. Like I'm not saying bring back Bill and Ted. I think that had its time in the sun, but now it's to do something like think of something new.
Yeah. Yep. 35 is a great year.
Yeah, unless the plan is to get rid of the stage eventually, because I know that they were talking about it. But
I feel like they've talked about this thing for like 2 or 3 years.
I know.
We're always like, is it going to? Is it? And it's like it's literally just there for the Horror Nights now at this point. I think next year would be a great year to do just an icon show.
I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know why Boots is going crazy, but who knows? He's a crazy dog. So let's dive into the houses. Anything off the bat that you think for houses that should be looked at, adjusted, or something you want to see for next year? Or
for me, the first thing is get the houses out of the Fast and the Furious building.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to put it in another tent, or go back to using it to one of the other tents. Like you used to put 2 tents. I forget where exactly, but the house has to be moved to somewhere else. And I don't know, because the Weathers are playing with that building now that the ride is going away. You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do with that?
Yeah.
I I'm just not a fan of
Mhm.
that particular space because for one, I feel like it's really tight and it's and I think in some aspects that works. I think that's why Jason is scary for people because it is kind of enclosed, super claustrophobic. But I don't know. I mean, uh, I feel like that end they're so limited about what they can do at the
Yeah.
second half of that house that it ends up becoming a hallway,
Yeah.
a boo hole hallway. And again, some people like that. I guess if that's what all you're looking for is just like I mean that's you're gonna get it. But for me, I want story. I want set pieces. I want set dressing. I want it to look good.
Mhm.
And I think due to no fault of their own, there's just not enough space in that area in that at least that second part of that house
Mhm.
to make it really work. Which is like I can't figure out why they didn't just follow the same template as Suites because at least Suites seemed to use that space better. But maybe that was just me. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is like so we've had I think 4 houses there so far,
Yeah,
and only one, Suites being it, we can walk out of it and say, you know what, that kind of makes sense. That worked. Everything else, I'm kind of like, that should have been somewhere else
yeah,
every time.
and I hate to dog on the black phone because that wasn't a bad house, but it did again. It felt like there were parts of it that it was just like there. I don't know if there was just not enough space to get to do certain things the right way.
Mhm.
I don't know, and maybe I could be imagining things. Maybe I'm just coming up with things in my own brain, but I just feel
No,
like
that's a fair point. I had that on my list as well, and it wasn't eliminated, but it was my take on it was Jason should have been in a sprung tent or one of the new tents. I don't know what you could have gotten away with over there. Um, I think if you wanted to do strictly vault
mhm,
setting, you could have put Fallout over there,
it's true.
because what we got doesn't seem in a lot of cases to use large scale. Obviously, like Philly area gets a little big and wide open, which you probably couldn't have done. But if you strictly wanted to do vaults, and you could have put
Yeah,
a whole vault house in there to have it that claustrophobic feel. Obviously,
true.
I mean, it's also a big IP. Jason is also a big IP, and it's over there, so it's tough to say you can't stick that IP there. But an IP did get stuck there, so I just think that I'm curious what they do because, like you mentioned, who knows how long that venue is going to be available for houses. So if they
True.
do eliminate it, where's the 10th house go? Because we're not going to take away houses. They can't do HHN35 with 9 houses. That's just not going to happen. So if you can put it somewhere else, like either do it now or, sooner rather than later, I'd prefer it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that it kind of sucks because they can't use the warehouses anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe there isn't anything they can do, and I'm just old man yelling at clouds at this point. But
Well, the
I do
things they
think that,
pull off, they can do something.
yeah, I feel like they can do something other than use that particular building. But I
I
don't know.
I think so too. Sorry, I had to open my
No,
blinds. I was
you're
getting a little
fine.
dark. I was getting a little dark in here. Scary. Speaking of scary, we need, and you sort of mentioned it, people are really revving up the scares for the Jason Universe house. I personally don't think it's terrifying. It's absolutely not 10 times scarier than Insidious, which is what they
Yeah,
went on record of saying.
that's kind of
Um,
wild.
but I'm missing the truly scary house this year. I really don't think that there is a scary house. There's some parts that get me at times, but I have to go into houses and intentionally distract myself with what I'm supposed to be distracted with to get the scare. So I'm like
Yeah,
preemptively trying to look away from areas or take in other like scenic views. But I just don't think down the lineup, I don't think there is a truly built to scare the shit out of you house. Now the characters get in your face, they do their job, but the way you build a house is a little bit different. I think the Jason hallway is their attempt at that Insidious red curtain room. But nothing this year is on the level of that for me. There's nothing on the level that Scarecrow got me, or Graveyard, or even at times Wicked Growth got me pretty good. I don't get that feeling from any houses. Is that just me, or are you getting like a less scary vibe this year?
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. To begin with, I'm like you, like, and again, this isn't like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, look how tough I am, but like, I don't like, they don't like, jump scares don't scare me.
Yeah.
Because for one, I'm preemptively, like, I don't know what the word is, but I'm preempting them essentially. Like I expect them to
Yeah.
happen. And not only that, I'm like that nerd that has to know how everything works. So I know how their distraction scares work. So I know
Mhm.
what they're trying to distract me with. Or when they have like a room divider that's cut a very certain way. And I'm like, there's
Mhm.
going to be something here. They want me to look at something over here that they're going to get me on this side. And that again, it's nothing that Universal can do. I mean, that's just how
Yeah.
you build a haunted house. And I'm built to, I guess I'm just like, I don't know the word, maybe I'm defensive or whatever. I'm just
You're
constantly think
analytically looking at it.
right.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't like the jump scares aren't going to get me. So that's when like they do get me. I usually like I'll thumbs up the person or I'll make sure I say like, oh, you got me. Good
Yeah.
job. Like, cause I'm not easy to get. And you're right. I think some of the scare actors in a lot of these houses are doing a really good job. Just some examples in the Bray Wyatt house, the
Mhm.
two in the video room,
Yep.
monitor room, like they're really good at working together to get you one way and get you the other way. So there are scare actors in certain houses that are really, working um, and going for it, which I think works. But at the same time, something like Artista, like not scary, beautiful.
No.
One of my favorite houses this year, very, very beautiful. Might be my favorite house, but it's not scary.
Mhm.
And I wish that there was a house that utilized a few of the traditional tricks that we've seen before to better effect. I don't think they do. Like we have one bungee or
Yeah, we have the
but I don't
glider
know
on
what the
top of
scare
us,
you call it or whatever. But
the
like,
gargoyle-y guy.
yeah, and like I don't think that's I just don't know what they were going for there because like
Mhm.
yeah, he's a gargoyle, but why is he going over you? I feel like there was a better use of that.
Mhm.
And there really isn't anything else in any of their houses. We're missing that really cool, effective triple scare that we got. Remember, I think was it
Yeah,
Monsters last year,
monsters. Yeah.
where if you got that triple scare all at the same time, it was super effective. It was really, really cool. But I don't think we have anything like that this year, and I feel
Yeah,
like
now
we're
that you
missing
bring
some
that
of
up,
those unique scares.
I don't nothing stands out of like that ambush scare, that triple scare, and you're right, the zip line guy, like it's not used as a scare, whereas in the past years we've had that kind of used as a scare, kind of coming
Right?
out of the dark at you. We had that
Yeah.
in Monsters last year, and then in Unmasked we had the hunchback that would fall towards you and spring back
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yep.
Um, they used it to a great effect, whereas this one, it's more of a visual. It's not a scare because he's not coming down at all, and you can very clearly see he's just kind of going back and forth, which is really cool. But I also think that there's room for a bungee scare somewhere in these houses that we're not necessarily seeing right now. One point that Jamie wanted me to point out was less screens. She wants to have in the Fallout area, there's that screen of the backdrop. And then in past years, we had Stranger Things with the screens and stuff like that. I I think it's used at times appropriately and good. Dolls being one of them. Terrifier with the like visuals of the sawing of the person in half. Those are fun ways of using smaller screens. But I think her point stands in that using a large screen as just like a backdrop is I don't want to say cheap, but it kind of comes off a little bit that way. Like with use mirrors to extend the room or use an
Yeah.
actual like wall setting or something like that. I think the screen of just like a generic wasteland or sand is kind of like I get what you were going for, but it just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. So I think that's a pretty solid point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I am still unsure if I like or dislike the what I refer to as the cul-de-sac, the four houses in the soundstage area.
Really?
I'm still not sure. So my two sides of it,
See, I'm
One,
sold on it, but I'll let you explain. Go ahead.
So the positive for me is it's convenient once you're there. If it's raining, it's a great spot to be because you're kind of undercover. The one negative for me is by the time I see something is shorter, by the time I hike all the way back into there, it's gone up now. So it's like it's not as I can't just kind of jump in a line quickly now versus when we had the entrances like in the streets. If I'm walking around, I could see, say you're in that corner of New York. You had the Fallon entrance, you had the 2 sound stages to the left of the Tribute store. I could just see the wait times right there and be like, oh, bam, right there, 30 minutes, I'm in. This one, I'm like on the app, like, oh, Wyatt's is, 30 minutes. By the time I walk through New York, I go through the back. It's very tight back there. By the time I walk through the queues, I walk around the sound stage. It's 55 minutes now. I'm like, fuck, I missed my opportunity. That's really the only negative I have.
It's a solid point. I think that's a good devil's advocate look at it. I think you're right. I think that that could be kind of where the problem with the waits are a little bit, because what's happening, and I think I can kind of explain it, is that obviously they put FNAF back there because it has to be in a soundstage. So that's part of that 4-house block. And that one always has, a max wait, hour 20, hour 30, whatever it ends up being. Because I waited in line for it on Sunday, and it was just under an hour 20. Which again, didn't really feel like, I know it sounds like a lot, but it didn't really feel that long of a wait, even though it probably was. But I think when you're in the middle of it, it's not that big of a deal. Minus the child behind me singing the whole time, besides the point. But, I think what happens is that house is always incredibly long of a wait.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is, no, excuse me, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
I had to clear my throat. Yeah. So I think that once they kind of once they leave that house, those people are going to disperse somewhere. But I think the idea behind that 4 set of houses is that everybody will kind of like do the 4 back there, and then eventually go back to the other side of the park to do the other houses. Plus, I think the one house in the way back of the corner, Dolls, where Dolls is, there's only one house back there.
Yeah.
Why they only did one house back there, it's because they can't use the warehouse, right? I don't know why else.
Well, they have Dolls and Hatchet. I don't.
That's right. Hatchet's sorry, I forgot.
But you have to enter through Simpsons, which I don't.
But they're so
remember why you.
I guess my point is
now.
they're so spread out.
Yeah.
That you're right. I think the problem is that let's say you do Dolls, you're better off just trying to hit the houses in that area and then get over for the other 4, rather than seeing like Wyatt, oh crap, Wyatt's 30. Yeah, that's because everybody just went over to get in line for FNAF or Terrifier or whatever with 2 big long waits. And then by the time you get over there, they're all out of those houses and now going to get back in line for Wyatt. I guess that makes any sense. So I think the problem is that there is a massive distance between one side of the park and the other side of the park, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah. And they're even like extending the park, right? Because it's not even like we're in the park. We're
no, you're out. Yeah, you're leaving. You're going out by Blue Man. You're leaving. You're leaving one park and kind of going out behind it.
I'm closer to Islands than I am to Men in Black.
They almost should have, because technically they're in the same buildings as they normally are, but you can't open, like obviously they're working on the roller coasters, so that not having that entrance hurts it. So I am hoping that they reuse this area. I think it's a good idea. I like having half the houses kind of on one side in its own little area covered, so that if you're getting rained on, at least like you're not technically standing out in line in the rain the whole time. I do like that. But if they are going to do it again, I'm hoping that where the roller coasters are being worked on will be opened up so they can open both sides. And there's 2 ways to get back there, rather than having to go either between Fallon's and the stage and over by the store in the front of the park.
Yeah, because I miss just being like kind of in that New York corner and seeing the 3 to 4 queue lines and being like, oh, okay, I know which one I'm going to go to and I can hop in line there.
Yeah, right.
Now it's kind of like a waiting game.
And I think part of the problem is because of the work they're doing on with the roller coaster. I wish they had waited.
It's 100% that.
I wish they had waited to start tearing that down until after Horror Nights, but obviously they can't do that. They're on time schedules and stuff. So
yep. One of my other last things is another thing where it's like at some point it's gonna happen. I think. I don't know how soon, but I'm gonna say it every single year. I want another house. I'm greedy. I just want another house.
Give me 10
Just
houses.
find another one.
Come on now.
Whether it's the Shrek Theater or you put up another tent or you build another warehouse to store your parade stuff. We used Soundstage 25 this year, which is something we don't always use. There's space somewhere. If you can put up a little rinky-dink small tent over in Fast and the Furious, you could put up a small rinky-dink tent somewhere else, whether that's back where MIB tent used to be or something along the lines.
They're still using 2 of the smaller tents, right? Dolls and Hatchet are both in smaller
the old sprung tents. Yep.
Right, because I feel like you could stick another tent back there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's space for it. And maybe that's just my
there's got to be
uneducated guess, but I do think that there's got to be space somewhere in that area which you can add a second.
Yeah,
a second
and I know
tent.
some stuff is used as break areas and makeup and costume, but I think you can rework it. I don't think it's completely impossible, but from a cost standpoint, that's why I think they don't want it to do the 11th house, because it's just how much more profit are they going to get from adding an 11th house by,
True.
How much more are they going to have to charge for tickets? People are already complaining that it's too expensive.
Yep.
It's tough. But if we're going to keep increasing prices without increasing houses, like at some point you're going to hit the tipping point and be like, okay, like what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I mean, they definitely should consider it. I think that kind of going along with this and maybe being a little different is I think they need to get rid of the smaller tents completely and then maybe put 3 new big tents like they have in the back.
Yeah.
Like you could they could easily just line up like 5 tents.
Yeah, just bam, 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 bam.
Just bang, 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 and then do the queues however you need to do the queue. But at least then you can have at least one more house. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if, and again, this is going to sound stupid, but I just don't know if they want to do it where it's an odd number.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to add, and I'm sure they've had these discussions before, but I feel like part of their opinion is that if we're going to do it, we need to add 2 houses. So we go from 10 to 12, not 10 to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to pull for 35, because it seems like an anniversary year would be a fitting year to do something extravagant.
I just don't think you can get your hopes up that they're going to add another house.
No.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I'm not banking on it, but I'm definitely going to keep that train rolling of hoping that soon at some point.
I'm with you 100%. I think that they need to add, I think they need to add 1 additional IP.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, this year should show you that I'm surprised by this, but the fact that, I guess, I'm not surprised by this because it's exactly what I said was going to happen. FNAF is the massive pull, right? That's why it's maxed the minute the park opens, because everybody goes to FNAF. And especially considering now it seems like the number of teenagers has increased. And again, this isn't me dogging on teens. Don't take this as he's just another boomer crying about teens. That's not what I'm saying. But it feels like the last couple of years you've had IPs that are very much aimed at a younger audience. So you're going to have a large number of that audience show up, and they're all going to go to that one house. So if you don't have another IP that can draw people, and I think maybe they thought Terrifier would be that, but like I set up in the beginning of, speculation season, I said, if Terrifier happens, don't think it's going to be this massive draw. It is. It's got a long wait, but I don't think it's nearly as long as people expected it to be, because it's a niche movie. As much as it's a cult classic at this point, it's got a huge cult following. The majority of the general public that's coming to the event, they've never seen Terrifier.
I think more people have done the house than seen all 3 movies.
I guarantee it. Yeah. And that's just because a lot of people are just I don't want to watch a movie full of just nothing but gore. There's no reason for me to watch that, but it's fun to go through a house that's like that because it's scary. But
Terrifier Terrifier as an IP is such a bizarre thing
It
because I
is.
think so many people know Art the Clown, love Art the Clown, but I think I don't think all of them have seen the movies. I think they like the character.
Right.
I think it's
I'm with you.
extremely popular, but I don't
Mhm.
know how many people have sat down and watched all three of these movies. The hardcore horror fans, horror night fans, people that are listening probably have. But I
Right.
think I would be so curious to like have one of those questionnaire people outside the Terrifier house. Have you seen all three movies? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Not to
how many of
dog
the
on anybody,
movies
but
have
I'm
you
curious
watched?
what the percentage is.
Yeah, and that's, again, like you said, it's not to say that like you're less of a fan if you've never seen the
No.
movies. Like
Yep.
that's not what we're saying. I'm it's
curious.
I'm again, as I said before, it's not the IP that I would have expected them to kind of parrot, or not to parrot, but to like go with FNAF. Like FNAF is a massive property right now. It's huge. I mean, there are kids in middle school and in elementary school that know what this is.
Yeah.
But Terrifier, I mean, granted, I know some parents just don't give a shit, but like a lot of parents aren't going to let their kids watch Terrifier,
No.
especially if they
God,
know
no.
what it is.
Yeah, not a chance.
So it's just a weird. It was just a weird pull, and I feel like if what might make more sense is you pair like a FNAF type thing with a Freddy or another
Yeah.
Michael House or something along those lines, where you have more of a general understanding from the public.
Yeah, I think so too. This is a question that I have zero statistics on. Other than I'd say Terrifier, and maybe Artista, do the other houses feel shorter to you this year? I feel like
As
Artista
compared
and
to
Terrifier
last
are
year,
long.
the year before, no. I think that what might color the opinion a little bit is how long oh my god, how long
Terrifier and Artista?
not Terrifier. Well, Terrifier is actually pretty long.
Yeah.
No, but Insidious last year. Insidious was
that felt long.
was quite long. And I think maybe it feels like everything else is shorter compared to that, and that's like one of the biggest, probably one of the most memorable from last year. And Terrifier is pretty long. I mean, I think it's longer than I expected it to be. But you're right. I think that maybe a couple of the houses do feel a little short.
I'm gonna start a timer, I think, on some of the houses just so I can see. I'm just curious what
how
like the
long
walk
it is
length
to get through. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think Hatchet feels short. And then I think Dolls feels a little short.
Five Nights
feels really short too.
Jason's short, obviously, because the venue
that's because of where it is.
So I'm curious to see what the length of houses are. Maybe I'll try to track that, and I'll try to do my best to walk the same speed through houses. That way, it's kind of like a common barometer right there. But the only last item that I have on here is something that we've said for past years as well, but we've seen it sort of implemented this year in the Wyatt's house, and that is the big screen that is looping kind of the story of WWE and kind of explaining what you're going to walk into. I would love to see that expanded upon and used for the originals. Just a quick little short, 3 to 5 minute video loop of the story of the house and kind of the characters you're going to meet, the setting you're in.
Yeah.
I know a lot of this stuff, but I also still get enjoyment of watching that stuff. So I think I'm hoping maybe the WWE stuff was a test run for how well it can work in a queue line and if people are paying attention or whatever. Also, I think people needed it for WWE because it was the biggest question mark of like, what is this? So I think that's why they also had it. But I hope this is something that continues in the future for either IPs or originals, but specifically originals, because you can do whatever you want with that. And one of the best parts of waiting for Slaughter Cinema 2 was the previews of the movies that you were going to sort of walk into. Not all of them, but some of them. So I think that that's something that I hope is kind of being tested this year, and we get to see more of it next year.
True.
Yeah. Any other improvements or things you'd like to see for houses?
No, I agree with you on they need to add something on the outside that isn't just movie trailers from 10 years ago.
Sinister 2 on
like,
DVD
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I understand why they do it because they want to give us at least something to listen to or watch before we get, because the lines, you don't want to stand in line all night.
Yeah.
but they got to give you something. And I don't know why. I mean, they're a movie company. They own movies, right?
Yeah.
So why can't they just play movies on a loop?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, it's very simple. Just put like a bunch of NBC properties up there.
Mm-hmm.
Or like stream stuff on Peacock, and you can put like ads in between elements, like parts of the movie that just says like, oh, sign up for Peacock to see this movie in its entirety or whatever.
Yeah, and you can just
like,
show clips. You don't have to full
correct,
the whole
right?
feature.
And I think that's
5 minutes.
Kind of what they're going for with the trailer thing. But the trailers are like, again, why am I seeing a trailer from Ma? That movie came out like 8 years ago.
Yeah,
or like you said, Sinister 2. Like, did anybody even see Sinister 2? Because the movie's terrible. The first one's great. The second one's not good.
But like, but it's like buy on DVD now. It's like
right, and like
bought
even
on DVD
last year it was the same
ago.
thing. Like last year, but at least last year the trailers were for like new movies coming out.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know what I don't know. Maybe did they have other plans and they just couldn't figure that out? I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Obligated
I think that,
contract, like contractually,
right?
Peacock
I mean,
or whatever.
I don't get it. Like at the very least, they need to do something to make it a little bit more of a ease on the wait. You know what I mean? Like I feel like when you're waiting for FNAF, they should have the FNAF movie playing. Like why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah. And like you said, just do clips of it and then throw the little FNAF 2 trailer.
Yeah, you could, right. Well, exactly.
Your movie comes out in a couple months.
Like, I mean, the houses are basically advertisements for it because at the very end of that, like, there's a sign,
the posters,
hanging a poster of the new movie. Fallout. At the very end, you've got the Las Vegas, teaser
Stinger.
with the oh my god, with the
Deathclaw.
The Deathclaw. Jesus, thank you.
Fallout guy.
I'm old, everybody. I'm old. Deathclaw, which is like a tease. So why don't they why aren't they showing something other than just some really old trailers? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. No, is a wonder, that's for sure. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for all of our HHN34 improvements. Hopefully we can see some of these implemented next year. Comment below on our pages, our YouTube, or whatever. Let us know what you would change or adjust or look for next year.
Yeah. You can't tell, Nick is chomping at the bit to get over to Horror Nights. So
I have to shower, I have to eat, and I'm running to Horror Nights. I'm wrapping this thing up real quick. I'm not even going to edit this thing yet. Well, deal with that tomorrow. Well, until next time, this is Nick.
This is Seamus.
See you in the fog. Happy haunts. Thank you for listening to another episode of Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you are listening to us on. You can find us on all of our socials at Fear and Beer Pod.